My Winnipeg. A horrific chain reaction of architectural tragedies started in the late 90s when our titanic Eaton's department store on Portage Avenue hit that prairie iceberg and sank. Bankruptcy. Eaton's once dominated this city to the point where over 65 cents of every Winnipeg shopping dollar was spent at this single store. To say it defined Winnipeg retail would be no exaggeration. After the bankruptcy, our civic government, without even trying to dream up an inventive second life for the old store, suddenly and unforgivably razed it. Demolition is one of our city's few growth industries. Overnight, construction of a new arena on the old Eaton site was announced. Curiously, after years of fighting, resisting, refusing to build a new rink for the NHL Jets, allowing them to abandon us for Phoenix, City Council suddenly rushed out this new architectural lie to Winnipeggers. The result, a sterile new thrift rink for minor league hockey. With too few seats to reach the NHL minimum, should a miracle ever give us another shot at playing in the big leagues. A ridiculous, politically motivated tragedy with the corporate name Empty Center. I'm sure memories will accumulate in this empty center, which has nothing but low-priced newness to recommend it. Until then, this thoughtless new building just sits on the windswept downtown corner like a zombie in a cheap new suit, its brick coat somehow meant as an homage to atomized Eatons, but coming off more as an insult to the grand old department store and an insult to us. Now, the real tragedy. Since we've suddenly ended up with two large hockey arenas, the real Winnipeg Arena, the old Winnipeg Arena, the most fabled, myth and memory-packed landmark in our city's history, has been condemned. Condemned. In fact, demolition has already begun. For 50 years, this ice hockey cathedral fit Winnipeg and its sport like a skull fits its brain. This building was my male parent, and everything male in my childhood I picked up right here. I was even born here, right in this dressing room. Look at it. Born during a game between the Winnipeg Maroons and the Trail Smoke Eaters. I was bundled up and taken straight home after the game, and brought back a few days later to watch my first complete contest. My dad worked behind the bench for the Winnipeg Maroons, the 1964 Allen Cup winners, senior hockey champs in the days of the original six, and for the Canadian national team as well, as Winnipeg hosted in wave upon frightening wave visits from the revolutionary juggernaut Soviet team, years before the hubristic NHL deigned to hold its first Summit Series in 1972. Here's my ticket for Game 3 of that series, a 4-all tie, a dull game compared to the electrifying contest typically held here at the world capital of international hockey. The NHL never liked us here in Winnipeg. They raped us of our best players when we joined up with them in 1979. I grew up in the locker rooms, was breastfed there in the wives' chambers, and was often lent out to visiting teams as a stick boy. I met my first superstar in the Soviet showers, dazzled by Anatoly Firsov as he emerged from the steam, naked except for the lather mantling his torso. Positively smitten by him, I once stole his famed number 11 jersey, taking it home and sliding it over my nude body to take a few erotically charged secret slap shots before tossing it into the forks for fear the KGB would catch me wearing it. I nearly fainted from the touch of its fabric and the fear. On off days, I would go to the arena for the strange pleasure I could produce by flipping down every one of the 10,000 seats, admiring them, then flipping them all back up again. Urine, breast milk, sweat, the hockey cathedral's holy trinity of odors. These are the smells that will haunt this holy site forever, no matter what blasphemy is built here in its stead. And rest assured, it shall be a blasphemy. When the national team was disbanded by a federal bureaucrat's stroke of a pen in 1970, my father died. With nothing left to do, he died. I'd like to say he spontaneously combusted right on the ice of the arena, That would have been great, but it was quieter than that. He shrank into a puff of cigarette smoke and was gone. Now, my building lies like a heart ripped open in the snow, closed to the public which worshipped in it. What if Eaton's had never gone down? What if? But an odd assortment of players, in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, continues to play in the old barn despite the first few thumps of the Wrecker's ball. The team is called the Black Tuesdays, in defiance of the day in October 1929 when the world crashed into depression. The players are old Jets, Maroons, or from earlier eras, the Warriors, the Victorias, even the Falcons, who won Canada's first Olympic gold medal in hockey in Antwerp, 1920. Cease Brown, voted Athlete of Manitoba's first century in 1970. Ole Turnbull, Buster Thorstenson, curly-headed George Cumbers, Smiley Zama, so named for the numerous head injuries which have left him eternally happy. Other veteran greats, Baldy Northcott, Fred Dunsmore, greatest of all the Maroons and best athlete in the history of Manitoba. As a child, lived at 3 different addresses, all of them on Minto Street. Strangely, and perhaps a testament to the mystical synchronicities always holding sway in this city, his future wife Margaret dwelt as a child in the same 3 houses, long before ever meeting her future husband. Billy Mosienko, Winnipegger, scorer of the fastest hat trick in NHL history at 21 seconds, and owner of a fantastic bowling alley on North Main. On the Falcons, Connie Johannesson, Frankie Fredrickson, the most beautiful of all the Falcons, Huck Woodman. It is even rumored that the heavily bandaged goaltender who plays is the late Terry Sawchuk, the NHL's all-time leader in wins and shutouts at the time of his mysterious death over 3 decades ago. But that's impossible, of course. They suit up in the collapsing old dressing room where they lace them up as youths. No one knows why the Black Tuesdays formed. They aren't saying. I'd like to think they did it to protest the grotesque greed of the National Hockey League, which made the sport too rich for this sleepwalking working-class town. Game-playing reveries, lost in time, mischievous time. Time flies when you're flying. The unfeeling coroner's chisel breaks in the bones of the temples, gets at the memories. With great sadness, for the last time ever, and wearing a hard hat, I relieve myself, as I've done a million times before, in the building's famed urinal trough, the last man in the illustrious history of this temple to do so. Within minutes, the trough will be ripped into oblivion, and soon, too, will the great careers of these wonderful souls.
Okay, we're gonna go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire goal!
Kind of a strange victory. Only the part of the arena added in 1979 to accommodate the arrival of the NHL in town falls off the arena when the dynamite goes off. This I interpret as a sign that we should never have joined that league. I really sort of hoped that this would be some kind of stay of execution. But no. Why did this happen? Why was this allowed to happen? The arena. My father. The paternal amphitheater of our game. Murdered. All because he lacked luxury boxes. Here we pride ourselves on the tradition of labor, and we allow our shrine to be outraged for its lack of luxury boxes. I'm ashamed of us. Ashamed to be a Winnipegger. Farewell. Farewell, beloved father.